With the 16th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Caleb Henderson, quarterback, Eastern Michigan. And with that, a new era of Detroit Lions football began. As we welcome you here to the training camp One Pride Report, we're going to take a quick look at the schedule here for the Lions first, as they start out the year at the Vikings, at the Falcons, at home against the Giants, at home against the Chargers, at home against the Seahawks, at home against Packers, then at Dallas, at Chicago, at home against Denver, at Oakland, at home against the Bears, and then at Kansas City, Matthew Stafford's new team, then at home against Vikings, at Packers, at Redskins, and then at home against the Eagles to end the season. Now, here are some highlights from training camp, and we're going to get into kind of dissecting and breaking down what the team is going to look like heading into this season. We're going to begin with the quarterback position, and obviously Caleb Henderson is going to be that dude after being selected 16th overall. He's received some criticism as of late by who did not like the pick at all. And you can see his tweet right there. And Caleb Henderson was asked about this criticism, and here's what he had to say about it. Well, I just try to do my best on the field every day. I try not to pay attention much to the criticism because I know that I'll get some haters out there, but I think that I just try to do my best every day. I try to get better every day, and I know that I have limited arm strength, but I make the most out of it. I try to be as accurate as I can, try to improve every day I'm out there on the field, and every day I think I'm getting better. I think it's just the most important part about, becoming an NFL quarterback. You just got to get better every single day. Henderson was also asked what his favorite part about training camp was so far. Well, I'll tell you what, the rookie hazing, it's not that fun. It's definitely not my favorite part, but I guess if I had to say a favorite part, we did have Kaylee Hartung, the ESPN reporter, reporting here, and let me tell you, it's pretty hot, but I guess it was a pretty cool meeting here. And it was not fun getting laid out by Dante Fowler right there. Yeah, that wasn't fun, but I guess you could say that was my favorite part of training camp, And I'm just excited to get to work. I got to take this job seriously. It's my dream job. I've always wanted to be an NFL quarterback, and I think that I am not going to waste this opportunity. Now, Henderson is actually not penciled in to be the Week 1 starter in preseason against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and a lot of the work that Henderson has been doing has been with the second teamers. However, he did get some reps with the first teamers today, actually, but John O'Corn is supposed to be starting the Week 1 preseason game against the Buccaneers, and Henderson will be playing the second quarter and maybe the third quarter if he keeps his play up well. Now at the halfback position, and the Lions returned Samaje Perine and Dwayne Washington at that position, so I'd say they're pretty set. Perine, he struggled at first in his return, but he really turned it on towards the end of the season, and he is going to be a valuable asset for a young quarterback like Caleb Henderson. And Dwayne Washington, he's another guy who is going to be very, very valuable in the passing game. Lions need to get him onto the field more. With Perine there, they need to work in this two-back system. Now, Jalen Hurd, he plays some. He did not play much when Perine was healthy, but we may see him on the field more. And the more exciting thing is that Usain Bolt has been converted from a receiver to a halfback. So we're going to see Usain Bolt lined up in the backfield on some plays. And it should be interesting to see his world-class speed used coming out the backfield instead of him dropping passes as a receiver. Now, speaking of the receiving core, this is literally the perfect receiving core for a quarterback like Caleb Henderson to succeed with. Bob Quinn's kind of vision when he got a quarterback like Henderson, and Bob Quinn / Darrell Bevell's vision when they got a quarterback like Henderson, was the guy that can be precisely accurate on short passing. Those rhythm throws, that's all they want from him. And that's what they were trying to get with John O'Corn. Matthew Stafford was just a little too much of a gunslinger for them. He just turned the ball over way too much for the Lions to justify paying him. So that is why they wanted to see what John O'Corn had last year. And when O'Corn really kind of struggled there towards the end of the year, you could tell that they were disappointed, and I think they have found their new quarterback now in Henderson. Henderson is precisely accurate on those short throws, and they have receivers that can take advantage of that, such as Noah Brown. Well, he's not that fast, but guys like D.D. Westbrook, Corey Smith, Kermit Whitfield, Drake Harris, Juwan Johnson, even the 6th round pick. I'm probably forgetting someone else. Trey Burton is also decent after the catch. Dwayne Washington out the backfield. You know what's similar between these guys? They have world-class speed. Well, some of them do. Not all of them. I believe it's Smith, Westbrook, and Kermit Whitfield. Those are the type of guys that are already the fastest in the NFL. And you can see right there, D.D. Westbrook catching that touchdown. That's the kind of vision the Lions have on this offense. They want to complete those short passes and let their receivers work after the catch. And all Henderson has to do is be a facilitator. He just needs to get the ball there. He just needs to not make any stupid decisions, throw it to his receivers, and let them do the work. And I think that's an effective system to run on somewhat. And yeah, the odd man out here is Marvin Jones. And Jones is he's really slowed it down over the past couple of years. You can tell he's getting kind of old, and he is kind of slowing down here. So he's kind of the odd man out. He may actually get cut in preseason. They're not quite, the coaching staff is not quite sure what to do with him right now, but right now he's going to be in the number 2 receiving spot for the week 1 preseason game, according to the Lions released depth chart. So now looking at tight end, they have Trey Burton. They drafted, I believe his name is Dwayne Clarrington, to kind of be the blocking tight end opposite Trey Burton now that Brandon Pettigrew is gone. And Clarrington has been alright. He can't really catch well, which is to be expected with a blocking tight end, but he should be okay. Hopefully he's not too much of a liability in the passing game, because the short passing game is going to really need to work for the Lions offense to get it going. Now you look at the offensive line, and the Lions have really felt some draft currency trying to build that up. They have bookend tackles in Taylor Decker and Maya Tahuma. Those guys are pretty darn good. Then you look at the interior of that offensive line. They signed Trey Jackson in free agency from the New England Patriots. He'll slide into left guard. He'll be replacing Laken Tomlinson, who's now a bench player. Actually, I don't even know if the Lions re-signed him. But anyways, at center, they drafted Lester Cotton in the 3rd round. He's going to take over for Graham Glasgow. It's probably going to get released at the end of the season anyway. And then at right guard, Bentley Spain, the 3rd round pick from last year, he will be manning that role. So the offensive line seems to be pretty solid. The Lions have invested a lot of money, not necessarily money, but draft capital into developing that offensive line, looking at how the Dallas Cowboys have done things and how the Seattle Seahawks have not done things and how they've not developed an offensive line and letting Russell Wilson get killed. The Lions are taking an opposite approach. They've developed that offensive line, and they got it really good now. Now you look at the defense, and new addition to the defense, I think the biggest one is probably Dante Fowler, the edge rusher from Jacksonville, the former number 3 overall pick. And as much as upside that DeMarcus Walker has, he had a year to prove himself, and he only had 3.5 sacks. And you need more sacks than that, I think, out of your edge rushing position. The Detroit LOB, which we'll get into in a second, they were very good. They led the NFL with 29 interceptions. Are they going to be able to duplicate that this year? I think not. And this pass rush was majorly down with Devin Taylor being traded to the Bills and Ziggy Ansah having a down year, only 7.5 sacks from him. They need more edge rushing support, and Dante Fowler hopefully can provide that as a Detroit Lion. On the other side, of course, they have Ziggy Ansah, who is solid in his own right. Then at the defensive tackle spots, you have Ashawn Robinson there, and then the other defensive tackle spot still has not been addressed. The defensive tackle class in the 2019 draft was very weak. The Lions were unable to cop a defensive tackle, so they're basically stuck again with 6th round pick QB Henderson starting there, who isn't terrible, but he's very bad. I think he's one of the worst in the league, graded by PFF, Pro Football Focus. He's not very good. he's not terrible, but he's not great either. And the Lions really could afford to get an upgrade there. Now you look at the linebacking core. The Lions signed Stephon Anthony away from the New Orleans Saints. He's going to replace Jonathan Bostic, who is another guy who hasn't been bad, but you need an upgrade there, I think, at the linebacker position. It's high time the Lions finally address the middle linebacker spot. Man the middle along with DeAndre Levy and Tahir Whitehead on the outside. Linebacker core is actually not bad. With Anthony out in the middle, it's really short up, and I think it's going to be really, really good for Detroit. Then we get to the secondary, and that is where not much has actually changed except for Brandon Jones, a second-round pick out of Texas. He will be getting the start over Glover Quinn. Glover Quinn was second in defensive back of the year voting last year for the NFC. However, he really, really lost a step in the offseason, and that's really concerning. And, you know, he was beaten quite a few times, I think, towards the end of last season. You could see things are kind of wearing on him, and he just lost a step. But now with Brandon Jones replacing him, I think that the Lions have a big-time upgrade at that safety position. They needed that free safety. They had the rest of the secondary kind of taken care of, but you look at the LOB, they've invested in 2 second-round picks in Jones and Slay, and then 2 top 10 picks in Hooker and Tabor. So the Lions have invested a ton into their secondary, and hopefully that will pay dividends this season. I think the biggest concern out of the secondary is probably Tabor. You just don't know what you're going to get out of him. You know, he'll have, from weeks 4 to week 12 last season, he was one of the top corners in the NFL. Especially week 4 against San Francisco, that was kind of his breakout game. But towards the end of the season, you look at specifically against Miami, against Atlanta, where everyone was burned. Those were the types of games that he really struggled in. You know, Devontae Parker, Julio Jones, those types of guys, they really burned him badly. And it's going to be interesting to see kind of if Tabor can bounce back. The Lions need him to bounce back, but will he? Who knows? So he's a big-time question mark, a big-time red flag for Detroit. And then looking at kicker and punter, Jason Myers returns as the kicker. He isn't great, but I guess he's better than Matt Prater. And then at punter, you got Sam Martin, who consistently boots sexy punts, so he's going to keep his job there. Then you kind of look at kick return and punt return. That goes to Usain Bolt and Kermit Whitfield. And in terms of some of the other positions on the team, some other interesting players that the Lions brought in. They did bring in Drake Harris, the undrafted rookie out of Michigan. We'll see how he performs in the preseason. Another guy who we got to see how he performs in the preseason will be Johnny Manziel. The Lions brought him back to kind of be veteran help. I don't know if you want to say a mentor for Caleb Henderson, but Johnny Manziel, it is worth noting that Manziel was one of Caleb Henderson's favorite players while he was playing at Texas A&M and eventually for Cleveland. And the Lions decided to resurrect his career, bring him back, and Caleb Henderson has had a lot of fun reportedly hanging out with Johnny Manziel, so I'm kind of worried about that for Henderson's sake. Hopefully Manziel doesn't corrupt the young man, but moving on, I think that some other interesting positions on John O'Corn. It's going to be interesting to see how he kind of develops. You know, will he be able to hold on to that starting job? I don't know. He's looked in training camp, and he's probably only taking the starting role because the coaching staff just doesn't think Henderson's ready for it yet. But I think Henderson looks better, and he should be the starter week 1. So now you kind of look at the schedule. Looking back at it, the Lions only have one primetime game this season. That's against Green Bay at home. And I am very excited for that game. I'm surprised the Lions only got one primetime game. Sadly, no color rush games this season, which is a major letdown. But against Green Bay at home, week 7, that's going to be a big game. I think another big game is going to be week 2 at Atlanta. This Atlanta team just seems to have Detroit's number. We've seen the past couple of seasons look at Week 6 last year, Falcons blew out the Lions 31-21. Lions got a garbage touchdown late, and then you look at Week 13 last year, the Falcons knocked off the Lions 45-31, putting up 45 against the Lions defense, which was playing so well at that point. And then they just had the brain fart against Atlanta. So yeah, and in terms of the receiving core, D.D. Westbrook, the 5th-round pick out of Oklahoma way back in 2017, he has not caught an NFL pass in his life. So it's going to be interesting to see how D.D. Westbrook, how he performs in his first kind of NFL starting action. He has not seen the NFL field. Well, he has as a punt returner, but that is about it for Westbrook. So, we'll see what happens with Westbrook if he can really develop into a slot receiver, or at least the explosive player that he was at Oklahoma, the former Heisman finalist. We'll see if he can develop into something, but that is about it for the one private part. As you can see, lots of Caleb Henderson highlights in the background. We'll see if Caleb Henderson will be that franchise quarterback the Lions have desperately needed. All the Lions need, as I said, they need basically a point guard, a facilitator that'll run the offense, do his job, and not turn the ball over. That is what the Lions need on offense. We'll see if Henderson can deliver that. Preseason week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be coming to you in a few days, so I hope you guys are ready for that. And be sure to tune in for that game on 87.9 Sports Talk to hear Caleb Henderson's debut.